Well, there's still time to set a few more New Year's resolutions, and one of those resolutions may be to make sure that your family is taken care of. And here to give us all the information we need to know is Morgan Hill with Hill & Hill Financial. Good morning, Morgan.
Good morning, Jess. Good to see you.
Good to
and
see
good morning
you.
to those tuning in this morning. It's good to have everyone here.
Wish I could have some of their coffee right now.
Yeah, yeah. You know, one of the things in the work that we do is we do retirement planning. One of those pieces is really about how do you make sure those you love get your stuff. I know that's kind of a non-technical way of saying it. Fancy terms, we call it estate planning. And as I think about the new year, I can't believe it's the 17th of January. Some people make New Year's resolutions, and we at our firm often advocate one of those resolutions should be, how do you know, you really know, that all of those things are in order, and we try to debunk some of the myths and help people out to know that, again, those that they love will be the ones who will benefit from their assets.
We want to make sure our family's taken care of. I know we don't like to think about it,
Yeah.
but it's smart to think about it.
Yeah, yeah. You know, first of all, as a firm, I hold education in the area of law. I'm not licensed as an attorney. I had a bunch of them in my family. They didn't need another one. But we work with some wonderful licensed attorneys. And again, there are times where people have done it themselves, but I'm a big advocate of having good licensed attorneys. But one of the first things that folks, I think, should do as they enter the new year is look at those things like wills or living wills or powers of attorney. One says I'm gone. One says I'm almost gone. You know, you go to the hospital. And then some, you're very much alive, but you just can't function. And unfortunately, in the work that we do, we've got folks, you know, some into close to their mid-90s now. And folks might need some help with making those decisions. So first thing, folks, that I would advocate is look at those documents. And if you don't have them, we'll have a opportunity at the end. We've got our 1-800 number for offices here in Chattanooga. Call, and we're happy to put you in touch. Again, it's just a complimentary service. Happy to put you in touch with some wonderful attorneys that can help with how do you put that together to take some of the scariness out of that process.
Well, and my question is, you know, where would I begin?
Yeah. We look at not only the legal documents, that's one piece. One of the other pieces, folks, is you have these, you know, life insurance policies or maybe annuities or heck, IRAs, 401ks, that kind of alphabet soup of investments, usually have what's called a named beneficiary. You know, who's first, who's second. A lot of folks that we've interacted with over the years, they go, I don't really know where those forms are. Or I got a call literally yesterday where some folks had some changes, and they go, well, who's listed, and where is that document again, and how do I know? And so we go through a process with folks to help them know not only who's listed, but also where do they keep those documents so it's in a safe place so that if anything happens, they're in control and they know exactly where those things are. So bottom line is we help with a process to say, how do we take the scary out of this thing called estate planning and really break it down so that we all can take steps to help our family be first versus someone else being
And
first.
you'll help us figure out that checklist, make sure we have everything taken care of. I know, you know, you specialize with retirement planning. With something like estate planning and even retirement planning, is there too early to start taking care of this?
Really good question. There are, first of all, the average age of our folks is somewhere between 50 and 90. We take folks and we work with folks younger, got a few folks that are older, but that's kind of our sweet spot. How do you get to and through retirement? We've got a lot of kids or grandkids, nieces, nephews that will call us, and I have actually had folks in their 20s. And they go, well, you know, what do I do? I'm 25, it's just me and my dog. We live in a condo in Florida.
Right.
But I said, still, if something were to happen and there might be some assets or things that, or worse, you get bonked on the head and you can't function, who would make decisions for you? So the short answer, Jess, I think everybody, once they leave that college realm and certainly are entering the workforce, I think it's never too early, personal opinion, to get key documents in place so that those you love will either be in charge or get whatever you've intended for them versus it becomes something that a court will decide or you just don't have anything decided and it becomes a big conversation that sometimes doesn't end well.
Because you got me thinking now. I'm like, okay, now who do I have where? What do I, you know?
Yeah, and you know how to reach me. You can give me a call. We'll buzz in. Jess is online too. We'll make sure we take care of you.
Okay, so say, you know, there's a family, you know, a mom and dad and maybe some adult children.
Yeah.
And, you know, the father, you know, everything's taken care of on his side. When is it time to maybe update those papers and the protocol?
Our experience and kind of our philosophy is when we do formal reviews with our folks, and it's a formal written review, email recaps, etc., we look at that on a yearly, on an annual basis yearly. Things change. I've had it where families have a bit of a scuffle. in that, oh, I've had people say I don't want them listed anymore, or this has changed or that changed. I've recently had folks where they lost children, and then you need to make sure that who's next in line. So it's either on an ongoing basis as emergencies happen or events happen. But for our opinion, again, I think annually, just to look and review. Certain lawyers that we work with, maybe every 5 years or so, if there are changes to the local laws, you want to make sure that you physically go in and you update them. But doing a review, just like I test the smoke alarms in my house, I just want to make sure that we've got all of that in place and nothing's changed. So folks, as you're listening and watching, maybe on an annual basis, pull those things out and make sure all of that's in line. And certainly, we're more than happy to take a phone call to help people with what's that process and to give them some good pointers.
And you also have a great book that, kind of talks about this along with other topics. Tell us about that.
Yeah, a couple of years ago now, I can't believe it, January 2019. A couple of years ago, I came out with a book called Building a Better Retirement that really kind of encapsulates how does this work, and I wanted to make it approachable. Oftentimes, Jess, this topic of retirement planning becomes overwhelming for most folks, and they go, what do I do? So we tried to break it down, and the book really highlights the 4 key things that we think everyone should be knowing or doing in retirement. That's making sure they've got a plan to never run out of money. They've got a plan to manage or avoid risks, healthcare, longevity. Number 3, you've got taxes of various types, shapes, and sizes. And then finally is estate planning. And we walk through what's that process, and then certainly folks can give us a call with the rest of the story, if you will, and we're always happy to hand out those books. In fact, this morning we're happy to do some giveaways for folks as they would call our 1-800 number.
All right, perfect.
Yeah.
So you do have people standing by now.
You
so
bet.
those of you watching at home, you're in luck. You can get a free copy of Morgan's book, Building a Better Retirement. Only the first 10 callers, though, so go ahead and do it. We're going to go to commercial break next. You're not going to miss anything, so pick up the phone. Phone number is there on your screen. Morgan, thanks for joining us.
Always a pleasure, Jess. And folks, thanks for tuning in on a wonderful Thursday morning. And again, hopefully this information really helps people get to and really get through this thing called retirement.
Well, every time you get my wheels rolling, and Lord knows I'm not even close to retirement.
That's right. That's right.
All right, Morgan, we'll talk to you again here in a few weeks. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Jess. Appreciate it.